Hey, what's up? It's Charlie here with my last lesson of 2015 on the very funky meters Cissy Strut. Cissy Strut by the meters, that is. As played by the guitarist Neo Sintelli. I think I've got that right. Fantastic, kind of very laid back sort of grooves. Really, really simple stuff. But simple to play, but very difficult to feel, as the old cliche goes. So a very funky kind of thing. It's a very straightforward tune. There are just two parts to it. There's an A and a B section, and each of those parts is essentially a 2-bar pattern, which is repeated 4 times, and that basically alternates. The entire tune more or less just goes A, B, A, B all the way through. There is a sort of a Hammond sort of organ solo, and there is a little funky accompaniment to learn, but pretty much once you've got these 2 parts, you kind of got the whole tune. So we'll go through everything. In terms of sound, just a nice, clean, probably an out-of-phase thing. I'm using this lovely D'Angelico guitar, and I've got it on the middle pickup, the out-of-phase. It's just got that kind of clean, kind of out-of-phase sound for me. It's kind of it's how it sounds to me anyway. I could well be wrong, but something like that, possibly a hollow body guitar will give that little bit more kind of grunt on the clean side. So we'll crack on. So the first part we've got, which goes, that's the first phrase. All right, now you're starting on 5th fret of the 3rd string, and you're coming down on the 3rd string at 5, 3. Okay, and then onto the 4th string you're going 5, and then on the 5th string, quite a jump, you've got to go to number 6, and you're going to give it an ever such a slight kind of quarter tone bend. I definitely recommend little finger here. Okay, then you resolve down to the 1st finger at 3rd fret on the C note of the 5th string. So okay, so you got that C comes on the offbeat. Okay. Okay, then we're going on to the 6th string, and you're going to play the G, the 3, the 5. Okay, so it goes 3, 5, up to the C on the 3rd fret, 5th string, back to the 5th fret, 6th string, so, and then back to the C on the 3rd string, 5th fret. So you got. Now I'm putting a palm mute on that. It's just something you can chuck in. Just like that, to give it a bit more of a tag. So it's quite a quick little piece that. So we got. So it's the whole section. So I'll repeat that a few times. And a bit slower. Okay, so that's your first little section. Then the second half uses 2 triads. We've got a B flat, okay, which is barring across the 6th fret, the top 2 strings, the F and the B flat. Then your middle finger jumps in on the 3rd string, 7th fret. So you got those to that just that little shape, and we're going to get, okay, and that's just going to be played as a down and an up. Okay, then it resolves down to what I would call a D chord shape. It's actually an F chord at 5th fret, so I'm barring across 5th fret with my 1st finger, and then my middle finger is coming in on the 2nd string. You're gonna hit 2 of those. So we got, or you could play it like a D chord, which I tend to alternate between. So in terms of rhythm, we've got. Sorry, that was rubbish. 1, 2, and. Okay, so we're getting 1, 2, and. 1, 2, and. So just practice that in isolation a little bit to get a feel for it. And that's extra parts all together very slowly. 2, and. Now you notice those are kept very short, those notes. We're playing them instead of going, we don't want that, we want. Now it's achieved with the left hand muting, so I've struck the strings. Okay? And I just leave off ever so slightly with the left hand. Okay, just to stop the ringing. Instead of leaving it on, you would get. Okay, we want. Okay, so it's just to do with pulling the pressure on and off to stop those strings ringing. You obviously don't want to go and move your whole hand off. It's going to ruin the flow and it won't sound as good. Just ever so slightly, just ease the tension off the strings and that will mute the notes enough. Very effective for anything like that. So that's your A section basically. Now throughout the whole A section, that riff repeats 4 times, which is essentially 8 bars. Okay, so that's the A section. You would then move into the B section, which goes. Okay, and that again is the same thing. You've got like it's kind of a call and response style thing. So you're playing it. That's a 2-bar pattern repeated 4 times. That's 8 bars. So this starts in the same position. This is all kind of tonally over a kind of C9 chord. That's really what's going on tonally. So we're starting on the C on the 5th fret of the 3rd string, and you're going to go as your first note. Keep it very short. Keep it very staccato. We don't want that. We want. Okay. Then you're going to move to. This is the tricky bit. Your 5th fret 4th string. Then 5th fret 3rd string quite quickly. So okay, so I use my 3rd finger to just roll like that. So you go then down to the 3rd fret 3rd string. So you go okay, that's the first part of the riff. So just get that. So 3 and 4 and. Fortunately it comes in on the beat, which is helpful obviously. So you got. And then to finish the riff off, you just play the 5 and the 3 on the 3rd string. So you go. Okay? And that's the first part of the phrase. So the first part of the B section is. And notice how the notes are kept very short. You could play them. It's not quite as effective. So. Now the second part of the riff starts exactly the same. Okay, so you play 5 on the 3rd string, then you go out to the 5 on the 4th string, back to 5 on the 3rd string, then 3 on the 3rd string. So it starts, but then it comes down, it plays the 5th fret 4th string, and then down to 3rd fret 5th string. So that's that part there. Played very slowly, so. Okay, so together you've got rest, rest. Okay, and there's 2, I think it's 2 snare hits there on the drums. You got okay, and it kind of helps punctuate that section. Okay, now that little is quite a difficult movement. It's not a particularly guitar-y movement. Normally things run in scales, so do watch out for that little bit there. It can catch people out a little bit. Okay, so that the B section altogether, 3, 4, and. Okay, just runs like that. Okay, so you can, little palm mute's quite effective. Or experiment first half with without a palm mute, and then just adds a little bit of dynamic into the tune. So those are your two sections really. You've got two 8-bar sections which essentially alternate throughout the entire tune. You've got, you know, A, B, A, B, A, B, basically. Up to the solo, you've got A, B, A, B. Then we're into the kind of, I think it's a Hammond Solo. And it's basically just a funky kind of C9 accompaniment that the guitar plays. Really late, he really lays it back there. You've got to be listening. And it's just playing. I mean, it's like it's the top of a C9 chord, so it's just the 3, 3, and 3. It's essentially a G minor triad, if you like. B flat, D, and G, and you can just play it barred with the first finger. Now, muting is absolutely essential. It's not going to sound very cool if you go. It's not really the same. So that's a big part of it. So you've got to watch your muting here a little bit. Rhythmically, I mean, it does change a little bit, and I would certainly grant yourself a little bit of artistic license throughout it to make it work. I mean, essentially, it's a kind of 2-bar pattern. He starts on the beat. So if we go 3, 4, that's your opening rhythm. So we're going down, down, up, down, down. Okay, so it's your first part. Break it down a little bit more. Down, down, up, down, down. Okay. Now, the key thing, I've talked about this a lot before in other videos, is the right hand movement. If you're new to 16th note strumming and you've never done it before, I would say this is you probably need to go away and have a little bit of a look at it, because to get that sounding kind of organic and proper, you need to be familiar with the right hand and how it moves and what a 16th note subdivision is. It's not as scary as it sounds, but it is quite important, because if you haven't got that, you're going to be going and it's going to sound like you don't know what you're doing. So if you're familiar with that, just try and pick the notes out by ear. Pick the rhythm. 1, 2. Okay, and then your second part of the rhythm, he misses the first one of the bar. So we got first one is 1, and he kind of varies between that a little bit throughout. I mean, you know, again, I would honestly encourage a bit of artistic license. It's funk. It's supposed to be a bit loose. It's not about what you're playing. It's about how you're doing it. You know, so try and bring a bit of that home. I would advise just to play through the tune. I mean, after the solo, it then goes to a B section. You've then got an A and then another B, and that's basically it. So it's moving between the A and the B sections. The only difference being the solo is where you play the funk and the accompaniment. But that is just 8 bars. Again, it's just 8 bars as the A section would be. I hope I've not confused you too much with all that. Hopefully it's been enjoyable. It's a great tune. It's great fun to play if you get together with some mates and have a bash. I hope it's been good. Thanks for all the support this year. Videos have been good. Lots more to come next year. And I'll see you in 2016. Cheers.